Hey, Fortis, did you need to talk to your client? You did? You said yes?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Hi, Officer Melton, how are you?
Good. This is position 11, Miss Smallwood.
Okay.
Um, is it this one?
Let me make sure that everyone's on the line with us. Um, who's representing Ms. Smallwood?
Attorney Kim, for FYI, she got a UJR through jail on the felony.  'Cause- 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 'cause
Good afternoon, Ms. Smallwood. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Okay, you have to speak up a little bit for me if you can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, you've been charged in case 24 CR 005297E with criminal trespass and damage to property. Let's see.
It's me.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Howard.
Hey, first arrest. She went to felony earlier. I'm gonna go get the bond.
Okay, I believe Officer Milton said it was a UJR. If I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
The jail.
Through the jail. Afternoon, Miss Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How is everybody today?
I think we're all hopefully doing
Wonderful.
well.
How are you?
We'll see. Happy birthday, Miss Bridgewater.
Thank you.
Miss Allen, we're on position number 11. Miss Smallwood, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Miss Smallwood, I believe, was on felony first appearance this morning. She came in with warrants from 2 different incidences, both against the same victim. This is in front of the court in misdemeanor court, Your Honor, is an incident that was reported in March of 2023. So this is a delayed arrest. This young woman has had a warrant out for her arrest for some time. The victim in this case is the, well, they share a gentleman in common. She called the police and reported that her vehicle tire had been punctured with a sharp object. It was about 6:20 a.m. This was 55 Maple Street Northwest. The victim's name is Nikiria Gibson, and that's Niquira. Police observed the damage to the vehicle, and there was already a warrant out for this young woman's arrest based on a similar incident at the same location in November of 2022. That's a felony level criminal damage to property, and that's where I believe she appeared this morning. Your Honor, the state would request a surety bond, stay away from the location, have absolutely no contact with the victim in this case, Mrs. Gibson. I don't believe we have been able to make contact with her this morning. But if we could sound for her in case she was able to join, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
If Miss Nikiria Gibson's on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Miss Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is actually 29 years old, and Your Honor, apparently this happened almost more than a year ago, and they have not had any contact, and they don't even live together. They don't have any children together. It's like they don't have to have any contact, Your Honor. My client has 2-month-old baby right now. She has been breastfeeding the baby, and who is eagerly waiting for her to return home to take care of. Your Honor, she is gainfully employed at DHS. She works 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And she does not want to lose her job because she was arrested last Friday at Cobb County for these arrests. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, she was transferred to Fulton County, but she has been in jail for more than 72 hours, Your Honor. So we would like to request for signature on bond through jail, and that's what we would like to request for. Thank you.
Okay, it's my understanding she received for the felony offense a bond through the jail, signature bond through the jail. I'm going to do the same thing. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Gibson. Stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, will you repeat that bond again, please?
2,000 signature through the jail, Ms. Bridgewater.
2.
Yes, 2.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Position number 3, yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Gadsden. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Let me just address everyone in the room while you're here. You all have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender if you don't have a private attorney to assist you today. Let's see, Ms. Gadsden, you've been charged in case 24CR005287C with false report of a crime. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6. 2023 shoplifting conviction. Another 2023 shoplifting arrest.
Ms. Desiano, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place on July 12th of last year. The defendant contacted the police to report that her vehicle was stolen 2 days prior to calling the police. She initially told police that she had parked her car around 4:45 on July 10th. I'm sorry, 4:15. And when she came back at 5 p.m., the vehicle was gone. Security footage showed that the vehicle was actually towed, and the police were able to get in touch with the towing company and come to find out the car was actually repoed, and the title loan company that is the holder of the lien was in touch with the defendant multiple times, and she was well aware that her car was being repoed. When she was confronted by the police about why she lied about the vehicle being stolen, she came up with a whole nother story, and it was quite clear to the officers that she was lying. They initially just tried to give her a citation and have her sign the citation. However, she never showed up to the police station, so a warrant was issued for her arrest. The state's requesting a signature bond. Thank you.
Representing Ms. Gadsden.
That's me, Your Honor, Keith Cook. We have no objection to a signature bond, Your Honor.
All right, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Gadsden.
Position number 7, Ms. King.
Judge, that's my case.
Good afternoon, Mr. Fortas.
Good afternoon, Judge. Good to see you.
You also.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. King. Let's see, you have been charged in case 24CR005295E with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Okay, yes, Ms. Allen?
That's my case, Your Honor.
Okay,
That is correct. There is no history that I see. This is an incident that occurred in a parking deck, I believe. The warrants state 1105 or 1115 Springwood Connector. That's in Sandy Springs. That's the Bishop Apartments parking deck. This is an incident that occurred on July the 3rd. So this is a delayed arrest. The victim is Sharnette Ludger, Ludger, Sharnette is the spelling of that name. We have been in contact with her, and she is joining us on the Zoom today. So if you would sound for her when it is appropriate, I'd appreciate it. The victim reported that during an altercation where she was attacked by 2 individuals, actually, this defendant, who was attending a party to celebrate someone that they know tangentially that was getting into medical school, became belligerent and assaulted her. She was punched in the face multiple times, sustaining a bloody nose, contusion to her forehead, and some abrasions on her knees and elbows. She also had broken fingernails. The charge in this case is a battery based on striking her in the face, causing her bloody nose. The injuries were recorded on body-worn camera, as well as statements. The defendant has no history, but what's concerning to the state is that this is an assault on basically a stranger. We would request a $2,000 signature bond, Your Honor, have absolutely no, a good bond, have absolutely no contact with the victim in this case, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Okay, Ms. Luger, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, you certainly do not have to, but if you would like to, I would ask you that you unmute yourself and I'll have to swear you in.
I believe we'd also request a stay away from the location because I believe that's actually the location where this young woman lives. So this was a party she was hosting where she was assaulted.
Yes, I would like to make a comment, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. If you raise your right hand for me, do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. So
Okay.
it's not just one lady that was involved in this incident, it was two. Fortunately, Asha was captured sooner than the other lady. However, my concern is that this is a place where I actually live at. Like, I live here, I've been living there for years, and this attack was totally unwarranted. So I don't want to feel like I am not safe in my own home. I don't know if these ladies are going to call other people to come here to possibly attack me because they know I have charges out on them. You know, I just want to make sure that I'm protected because I'm not exactly sure what to expect from women who just act like that because for whatever reason. So yes, I just want to make sure that this is upheld to its fullest extent because my place of being, you know, my peace of mind has been disturbed and this incident has traumatized me.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Lutger. She will be ordered to stay away from not only you but your resident. And if she's around you or your resident, she'll be in violation of the bond that I order. Okay, but thank you for being here this afternoon. Yes, good afternoon again, Mr. Fortis.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. First of all, my client is 30 years of age. She does not reside in Atlanta. She was actually here visiting friends. She lives in Charlotte, so staying away from the alleged victim or the alleged incident location is not going to be a problem whatsoever. She's a full-time student. She attends a community college where she is becoming a stenographer. She has absolutely no criminal history whatsoever. When she found out that there was a warrant, she drove herself from Charlotte and turned herself in to answer these charges. So obviously there's going to be legitimate question of the aggressor and who got the worst and who got the better end of it. But that's not what we're here for today, Judge. I think that it's appropriate given the lack of criminal history, the fact that my client does not reside here in Georgia, but found out that there was a warrant and drove herself here to turn herself in. I would be asking for a UJR through the jail with obviously a stay away with no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from the incident location, which obviously should not be a problem whatsoever as she doesn't even reside here. I have been retained for the case, and so we're ready to go at the appropriate time.
Okay. My understanding under SB 63 that she doesn't qualify for UJR through the jail, but I will give her a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Ludger. Stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
That'll be great,
Okay.
Judge. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. King. Anything further this afternoon, Mr. Fortis?
No, Your Honor, it's good to see you as always.
You as well. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
You as well, sir.
Position number 4, Ms. Green, Ms. Athea Green.
Good afternoon, Ms. Green. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005288Y with theft by taking. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Yes, Ms. Desiano.
May I inquire, is this a conflict case?
Who's representing Ms. Green?
I know of no conflict. Do you have another person you?
I just know during the investigation, there were multiple people that were involved. I don't know if they were conspiring. My guess is that answer is no, if there's no conflict attorney.
There was nobody. No, I'm familiar with the report. Yeah, I had a similar reaction, but apparently no one was arrested. No one's on the pull sheet today. So
Okay. Well, out of abundance of caution, I'm going to ask for no contact with those other defendants. But if I say their name, Mr. Cook, I just don't want you to be confused about who they are. They're the other people that were involved that are in the warrant. Your Honor, this incident took place July 10th of last year. This defendant is a former employee of the Lego Discovery Center Atlanta at Phipps Plaza. She was investigated along with several of her coworkers for creating fraudulent merchandise returns and then pocketing the refunds. The profit protection team identified several transactions for refunds that did not coincide with purchases. In total, there were 5 transactions that totaled $1,424. The security footage was reviewed, and one of those transactions was completed by the defendant. Footage shows that on the incident date, the defendant issued a refund for $286.41. However, there was no customer present at the counter trying to return merchandise. The video also showed the defendant complete the refund and then scan her personal phone to complete the transaction with a mobile pay option that went to her bank account. Your Honor, I'm showing this as her first arrest. The state would request a signature bond. No further contact with the other co-workers in this matter. That's Tiras Owensby and Trentez Anderson. Is stay away from the Legoland and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol allowed on bond. Thank you.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. Cook?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, as such, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Anderson and Oversby. Stay away from the Lego Discovery Center, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Green.
Position number 5, Ms. Latasha Green.
Good afternoon, Ms. Green. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005289H with unlawful conduct during a 911 call or otherwise making a false report. Is there a history?
Was she on the pool sheet?
She's on my calendar. I'm not sure if she was on the poll sheet.
She was on the poll sheet.
No, I don't have this one. I got the other green.
She
Okay.
went to felony court first.
But she was on our original pool sheet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll go see what the felony bond was.
She received a $25,000 bond.
Oh, okay. I defer to the state.
Your Honor, I'm showing that she has 4 cycles out of Georgia. She was arrested in this case because there was a warrant out for her arrest for an unrelated aggravated assault. I believe that's what pretrial is talking about that she had first appearance for today. There's also another aggravated assault arrest from May of this year, and also a charge for criminal trespass that appears to be open, and then a 2020 case for identity fraud that was dismissed. Your Honor, this incident took place yesterday at, well, the incident location is the Atlanta Police Department Zone 1 precinct. However, this was actually in regards to a 911 call, and I'm unsure of the incident location of where she actually called the police from. But essentially, she was arguing with a man named Robert Green. There was a dispute over a firearm, and the parties ended up driving to the police station, according to Mr. Dean, to try to resolve what they were fighting about. However, prior to arriving to the police station, the defendant called the police and told the police that Mr. Dean had fired shots at her with that firearm. However, when she actually was at the police station and talking with the police, she admitted that the only reason she told the police that shots were being fired at her was because she was trying to make the police arrive faster, and that no one actually fired shots. Your Honor, the state's requesting a signature bond in this case. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Cook.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Ms. Green.
Position number 9, Perry.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perry. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005291G with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
21. Last arrest was July 5th for battery. January of this year, battery. 2022 simple battery. 2020 simple battery. 2019 probation. 2016 robbery conviction. 2015 FTA.
Your Honor,
That's
this incident took place on July 29th at the Willie's Mexicana Grill. It's also a Shake Shack. It's at 1071 Piedmont Avenue. Essentially, the defendant was previously told to not return to the property on July 14th of this year and came back on the 29th. The state's requesting a signature bond and a stay away. Thank you.
Your case, Mr. Cook?
No, Your Honor.
It's my case, Your Honor. We have no objection, signature on bond through jail and stay away. Thank you.
Does he have any, I'm sorry, does he have any other criminal trespass offenses?
Your Honor, I'm not seeing one. His convictions are
Okay.
mostly battery.
It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Stay away from the Willie's location on Piedmont Avenue. Good luck to you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Your Honor. Number 1, Crabtree.
Good afternoon, Mr. Crabtree. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005286J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest. 2011 CWAC charge. That's all.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident took place back in April 14th of this year at 1329 Eason Street. The victim in this case is Sarah Green. She lives with the defendant. She advised that she and the defendant were arguing and he bear hugged her and wouldn't let her go. So she pulled his hair to get him to release his grip and he pushed her to the ground and caused a scrape on her knee. Our office has been in touch with the victim in this case. She states that they're in a relationship and they live together and she's currently pregnant with the defendant's child. She states, she confirmed the events in the warrant. She states that she only called the police to de-escalate the situation. She wanted him to leave. They've been living together since April without any incident and she's with him. The state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, taking complete anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. And Your Honor, I believe Ms. Green is on the line.
Green, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to unmute yourself if you would like to, and I'll have to swear you in.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I know that the interaction that Houston and I had between us was inappropriate and immature. I do need him to be home in our relationship. Our communication has improved since the incident. Our work together in our household has improved, and I want it to continue to improve. I'd like to push for pretrial intervention if that's possible. Maybe anger management classes and just leniency from Your Honor.
Okay, and so you're not afraid of him?
No, sir. We lived together. We were together when they picked him up.
Okay.
And I mean, he returned the night that we had the fight and we had cooled down, we had talked about it, and we've been working on it since then. He took an anger management class online and has been reviewing those and seeking counsel with his pastor. So we have been actively working on it. We thought that the case had been dismissed after speaking with the investigator.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Green. We appreciate you being here this afternoon.
Thank you, Ron.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, John, I would just ask the court to take note of the of Ms. Green's comments. We would certainly be seeking a signature bond. No further violent contact. We wouldn't want to stay away. He's had an anger management course online. I don't know if that would qualify under pretrial services. But we would not object to another one if that's what the court feels is appropriate.
It will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Sarah Green, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Position number 6, Kadisha.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Kadisha. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005290D with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest, 2023 forgery in the third out of Barnesville. Got an open case in state court, criminal trespass, damage to property and possession of marijuana. It's 24 CR 000367D. That's it.
Yes.
Your Honor, this incident took place in March of this year, March 24th at 5555 Roswell Road, apartment G9 in Sandy Springs. The victim in this case is Blessings Nguyenko. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. She is the girlfriend / possibly ex-girlfriend of the defendant. They are still living together in the same household. There was an argument about the victim moving out. The victim had just gotten out of the shower. The defendant approached her, pushed her on the bed, got on top of her, and started striking her repeatedly with a closed fist. She told the defendant that she was calling the police, and he fled. A warrant was issued for his arrest. The officers noted a red mark on the victim's left side of her face. She also had 2 broken nails. The case that pretrial mentioned that is open for criminal trespass and damage to property is against the same victim, Your Honor. He was ordered, it looks like he's in diversion for that, and the bond order in that case states that he's supposed to have no further violent contact with this victim. Obviously, that has not happened given this incident has occurred after the entry of that. That bond order was entered in January, on January 16th of this year. This incident happened in March of this year. And that was ordered by Judge Mincy. Our office has not been in touch with Ms. Nguyenko today. Your Honor, given his history, the state is requesting a surety bond, $2,500 on the battery, no further contact with Ms. Nguyenko, stay away from the incident location, anger management classes, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. And if the court can sound for Ms. Nguyenko.
If Mr. Nguyenko is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, whose case is this? Yes, good afternoon, Mr. McLean.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mr. Katisha denies the charges. The previous allegation of breaking the phone for that diversion notion in the bond is also not a conviction. I would point out the 3rd-degree forgery. He explained to me that that was in Barnesville, Georgia. He worked for a guy for some time, got a couple of $1,000 check for his extremely hard labor. Turned out to be a bad check. It's not his fault. Of course, they didn't cash that, but he had no way of knowing that, and he will vigorously contest that case as well. So pointing out that's not violent. The case against the phones was back from January. And Your Honor, he works at Kroger. He's worked there a year. He's very industrious. He oftentimes has 2 jobs, not currently. He works full-time. He's worked in fast food places. He is not strictly local his entire life, certainly, but he is. He grew up in another East Coast state, I'll put it that way, and has moved down here and has been here for at least a year. I'm not sure how much longer than that, but he has no convictions, and I would ask the court to consider a signature bond. Realize it's marked as restricted.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Nguyenko, stay away from the 5555 Roswell Road address. You can go back to the address.
Oh, you're neither. It was his place, but neither one. It's irrelevant because neither one lives there.
Okay.
That's
Well, Okay, well, he's to stay away from her wherever she resides at the present time. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Number 8, Lockett.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lockett. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005296F with disorderly conduct, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6. Open marijuana case in state court. It's 24 CR 001995F. 2019 robbery arrest. That's it.
Yes, Miss Allen.
Your Honor, this is an incident that occurred at the East Point MARTA station. That's 2424 Piedmont Road Northeast on the 29th of July. At about 12:20 p.m., the defendant was seen by law enforcement there, soliciting people for drugs, walking back and forth on the property. He was asked to leave by law enforcement. He refused to leave, and he became angry and belligerent, got in the face of Officer Little with his fist balled up, threatened to shoot her, tried to get her to fight him, used vulgar and loud language, and then was arrested. He was found to be in possession of marijuana when he was arrested. The defendant does have a current open case for possession of marijuana in state court. We would be asking for a $2,000 surety bond, Your Honor, and require that the defendant stay away from all MARTA properties. Thank you.
MARTA is appropriate, Your Honor. He agrees with that. He works at a shoe store in East Point. That shoe store got closed because a car ran into it and just destroyed the inventory or messed up the inventory. So he's worked there for a month, but he worked for them before that, and now they're back in business, and he is working there. He helps. He's not the only person. He helps take care of his grandmother to some extent. He has 2 younger sisters. He's 20 years old and is learning lessons about shooting your mouth off, Your Honor. So we would ask the court to consider a signature bond here. He said he was kidding, and we had a good discussion about you don't kid like that.
I see him as Johnny Lockett on the Zoom call. Are you here on this case, Ms. Lockett? Would you like to address the court,
Yes.
ma'am?
No, sir. I got the link to sign in, so I just signed in.
Okay, well, we're happy to have you. So thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you.
As such, for the disorderly conduct, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Possession, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Abide by any MARTA restrictions, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
There's a terroristic threat, an axe misdemeanor charge. Is that dismissed?
The
That was-
terroristic threats was NOD'd.
Okay. And what was the possession of marijuana less than an ounce bond amount?
500.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You good.
Thanks.
Next is position 12, Thompson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson. Let's see, you've been charged in case 24 CR 005294J with
I thought it was a typo.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts of simple battery family violence, 2 counts of simple assault family violence, 1 count of terroristic threats and acts, and obstructing or hindering person making an emergency telephone call. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got first.
Yes, Miss Allen.
That's my information as well, Your Honor. I don't have any criminal history for this gentleman. This is a case that occurred on the 29th of July this year. The police were called to the residence where the defendant and his wife and children live. The accusations represent 3 counts for each of the wife and his 2 boy children, 12-year-old and 10-year-old. It's reported that the defendant came into the kitchen where his wife was cooking dinner and his 2 sons, Elijah Jr. and Ethan, were at the table. An argument ensued with the defendant and his wife arguing. During that argument, he also was challenging the children, specifically Elijah Jr., who he balled his fists up at as he was yelling at the child who sat at the table, and then poked the child in the head with his fingers, standing over him. He then pushed mom is Jennifer Thompson, into the corner of the kitchen where he raised his arms as if to strike her while screaming at her in front of these children. He then threatened her, specifically stating things like, "I am going to knock you out and beat your ass," in front of the children. She tried to get away from him in the kitchen. He repeatedly pushed her around the kitchen. One of the other children, Ethan, age 10, excuse me, got up to try to assist his father. The defendant knocked this boy down on the ground and then stomped on his leg. Ethan and his mother ran upstairs to a bedroom after Ethan told his dad he was going to call the police. At that point, the defendant forcefully took the phone from Ethan, again, standing over this child in a threatening manner. The child said he was afraid he was going to be harmed. He ran with his mother upstairs. This left Elijah Jr. Downstairs with his father. Elijah reported that his father stood over him, grabbed him with his hands in fists on either side of the child's face, and squeezed him as if he was restraining himself from assaulting the child, and then pushed him, causing him to fall down on the floor in the kitchen. Elijah Jr. then ran away. His mother walked in to see the defendant standing over him and push him, and she interrupted him. At that point, the defendant retreated to the basement. Both boys, 12-year-old and 10-year-old, were spoken to on scene and corroborated the things that had just occurred in front of them and with their mother. Jennifer reported that her husband was drinking and that this is not the first time he has been violent, but the first time that the children had been called, and he has been violent in the past with their children and verbally abusive especially. She has applied for a temporary protective order. She is requesting no contact and wants him to stay away from the residence. And of course, he could have a one-time law enforcement escort to the location to retrieve his belongings. And I'm going to pull up the correct address just to make sure I'm not misstating. If Mrs. Thompson is on the line, we've been in touch with her briefly, but she was in court this morning. If you could sound for her, and I'll go look for that address. Thank you. We would be asking for a $9,000 surety bond, Your Honor. These are egregious behaviors, not only in front of children, but to children. There were 2 counts of cruelty in the 3rd degree that I sent an NOD over because simple battery and simple assault don't support cruelty in the 3rd degree. But we do have terroristic threats. Photographs were taken by one of the children as the defendant stood over their mother, threatening her with his arms raised. This is just terribly frightening and traumatic for young children, especially if this has been ongoing in the home.
Ms. Thompson, if I see that you're on the line, if you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you'll raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Um, the behaviors that she just described from Elijah, my husband, it was very intentional. It was harsh. It was insidious. Our kids are still crying. And I did apply for the TPO today because he's not safe. And we, the children and I, have tried so hard to reach out to Elijah. He and I have been to marriage counseling. I've encouraged him to come to church with us, therapy, and he won't do any of it. And his only motive, it seems, is to target me, of course, with violence. But the emotional abuse, and I learned from Johns Creek Police Department, we are victims of physical and emotional abuse. I didn't sign up for that. And what's also very hard is that he blamed me, and he continued to blame me for the way that he behaves. And I am very aware that it's not my fault, and it wasn't anything the kids did. Elijah is responsible for his behavior. And so the TPO was granted, and we are afraid. And we do get nervous when he comes up from the basement, and he was drinking. And at this point, he's just not safe at all.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Thompson.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes,
that the address of that residence is 800 Ellsborough, and that's spelled ELLSBOROUGH Court, and that's in Johns Creek. Thank you.
Okay.
I would note that the documentation from police specifically states that both boys reported being afraid they were going to be violently injured by the defendant as he stood standing over them with his fist balled up, angry, after they were watching him push and threaten his mother, and they were both tearful and inconsolable on the scene.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Mr. Thompson, he is 44 years old, and Your Honor, he is gainfully employed as a cyber security engineer. He's been doing that for about 16 years. Even though he was born in Oklahoma, he has lived here in Georgia for more than 14 years. This is his home, where his wife of 14 years is here. They're his children. He's not going anywhere, Your Honor. So they actually do have a different place. It's like a basement, has a separate living space that they can live together. However, my client has no objection to honor TPO or no contact and stay away. He has no objection. He does have an associate degree, and he also has 3 years of college education. And he would like to have a one-time law enforcement officer escorted visit to retrieve his personal belongings, and he wants to have a contact with his children. That's about it, Your Honor. Thank you. And he denies the allegation, and he says that he was actually punched on his head by his wife. So he was pushed to the ground, and he was defending himself. Thank you.
Okay, well, he's not, number one, going to be able to live in a basement apartment. He's going to have to find a whole different place to stay. He's not going to be able to go back to that Ellsborough Court apartment only to retrieve whatever belongings that he has there. I do want to monitor him because I'm going to give him conditions. I'm going to give him $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 on each of the counts. So it'll be a total of a $9,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. He's to have 5 anger awareness classes. He's to attend 1 AA class per week. No further contact with Ms. Thompson. Stay away from the Ellsborough Court address. He can go back to that address on 1 occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. I'm going to let another court decide on any type of custody arrangement. So he'll have to seek custody through another court. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. So until he does that, there'll be a stay away from not only Ms. Thompson, but his children also. But he certainly can seek to have visitation through another court. And if he does get, if he is granted visitation through another court, I'll put in this order that he's to abide by any other court orders in regards to child visitation. Okay? Did you
Yes,
get
Your
all
Honor.
that? You got all that, Ms. Bridgewater? You with me, Ms. Bridgewater?
I am. I have it all.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you all.
Number 10, position number 10.
Good afternoon, Mr. Seals. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005292F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest, 2022, possession of marijuana. He was arrested for ag assault, criminal damage to property, first degree, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. That was out of Union City. I think that was 2022. That's it.
Okay, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from July the 14th of 2024. The defendant was just arrested on the 29th. The victim in this case, her name is Anais Shara Rhodes. That's spelled Anais. Shara is SHERA-RHODES. The incident occurred at 12 a.m. at 5500 Oakley Industrial Boulevard. That's in South Fulton. The victim told police that they were discussing their imminent breakup. She had just explained to the defendant that she was moving out and into a different apartment that she'd obtained. He became angry and he assaulted her. He specifically came up from behind her and grabbed her around her body and threw her to the ground, injuring her arm. She was seen to have swelling and pain on her arm. EMS treated her on the scene. We have been in touch with Ms. Shara Rhodes. She has reported to our office that the defendant and she are still currently in a relationship and live together. So I'm not sure what happened as a result of their conversation and her telling him she was moving out, but clearly he wasn't arrested right after he assaulted her on July the 14th. So maybe she had to stay with him because there was a threat that remained in her life. She reports today that she believes there might be a MH issue and she would like for him to get help. She admits that she called the police, but she wanted for him to get some help at that time. The state would ask for no, she also reports that they share a child. I apologize. The state would ask for no further violent contact, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, Your Honor, and to have a BHET. We would ask, this is one count, Your Honor, we would ask for a $2,000 SOB through pretrial, level 2. Thank you.
And you're asking for no further violent contact?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I take it
If
that
they live together and they have a child, we can hear from Mrs. Rhodes if she is, I think she's on the line.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that I had your position.
I would
straight.
request, obviously, no contact, but I think it's interesting that the position has changed. It doesn't surprise me, but there are some concerns and there's a child in the home. So maybe Mrs. Shara Rhodes can talk to us about it.
And the aggravated assault allegations that are open, I take it that that was a different alleged victim? Do you know?
I don't.
Okay. Let's see, Ms. Shira, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You of course do not have to, but there you are. Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? You swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Yes, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
So, I didn't call 911. My mother did in a very dramatic way. I wouldn't even say it was battery. It wasn't really that serious. I was just very upset at the time. The officers told me that if I wanted to press charges to take this paper that I have to the courthouse, but I obviously did not press charges. I've been in contact with the investigators since then, and when we spoke, they told me that he wouldn't be going to jail, that he would be going to a psych ward. I don't know what else to really say. It just wasn't that serious.
Okay, well, tell me what happened.
So we were just talking, and it was just like a shove and like cat fight. It wasn't really like him hitting me, and I wasn't doing anything.
And how old's your baby?
He's gonna be 2 in November
And where was he?
with his grandmother.
Okay, in the household?
No, he was in a different household.
Okay. Has this ever happened before?
No.
And so, the alleged aggravated assault, that's open, that did not involve you?
No, and that also wasn't very serious. It was just very exaggerated.
But it wasn't you though, right?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 22 years young, Your Honor, and he is gainfully employed to fix, repairs cars. He's very good at fixing brakes. And however, he still needs financial help to take care of the child. So he's still qualified for public defender services. And Your Honor, the apartment is in his name. It's the lease in his name. And we would like to ask for signature on bond through pretrial level 1 and no further violent contact.
I have a question, I guess, for Miss Shira Rhodes, if it's allowed.
Yes, that's fine. Ms. Cheryl, you still on the line with me?
Yes, sir.
So the child that you two share was with your mother?
No, with his mother.
Okay, but it was your mother who called the police?
Yes.
And your testimony today is that you thought he was going to go to a psych ward. Is it still your position that there is a mental health issue?
Well, we've discussed that after like the police had left and everything died down.
That's not a big deal either now?
No, it was just, I don't really know how to explain it. It was just, it seemed like that at the time, but after I spoke to him, it's something different. But I
Have
feel
you
as
ever
if
had
he needs,
those concerns before this incident on the 14th of July?
yeah, but not like a violent concern.
Okay. And you said earlier that this was just a push. It wasn't a battery.
No, it wasn't a battery. I had already spoke to an investigator about that though.
Right, but the court is asking you, and I'm asking you now, are you saying it was a push and it wasn't a battery today?
More like a shove.
Okay.
Yes.
Who lives at 7190 Boulder Pass in Union City?
My family.
And is that where the aggravated assault occurred in 2022?
No, ma'am. There was
What's
nowhere
your
near
current
that.
address?
3821. I don't know what the address. I just moved here. It's both of our place.
Okay. So
I
let
know
me
the
ask you
name of the
this.
resident.
You know about the aggravated assault in Union City in 2022, and that wasn't a big deal?
Yeah, it was over exaggerated.
So who was involved if it wasn't you?
It was a stranger outside of a gas station.
Okay. And your child lives with the two of you now?
Yes, ma'am. And I really do need his help because I can't do anything. I can't take my baby to daycare.
Why?
He has like issues that we're trying to like reconcile with his pediatrician.
Okay. Thank you for sharing information with us today.
You're welcome.
Anything further?
Your Honor, I would ask for no further contact. There are clearly some issues here. You can't be charged with a battery, but it was only a shove or a push. Saying that this isn't a big deal, and we talked about it, and she has mental health concerns, but not really violently. And also that issue in 2022 wasn't a big deal, but it was an assault on a stranger. those are all clearly safety concerns, not just for this young woman, but for her child. If her mother called 911, then that would also be a red flag for the state, Your Honor. We're charged with keeping the public safe. We would be asking for a surety bond and absolutely no contact, and to have no contact with this young lady and stay away from where she currently lives, as well as that child. I don't know if the child's been legitimated, so if there's some order that gives this defendant access through custody and visitation, then we would ask for a third-party transfer. Otherwise, we would ask for no contact with the child as well.
Yes, Ms. Shearer, you have something else to say?
I feel as if there should be no reason for no contact. And then she included other things. The aggravated assault. It was a stranger that had put a gun in a group of people's face. And I guess he defended himself and others as he should. And my mother called 911. It's just I told her I was shoved and she doesn't really like him. And the call was like very dramatic. I said I have some mental concerns for him because he seems very depressed sometimes. He's really trying to get his life together.
I would like to request for, objection for any further testimony. And
Okay, I think she's about done, Ms. Kim.
sure.
So it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 per the judge. I want him to have a BHET while he's out. I also want him to do anger management classes, 5, no further violent contact with Ms. Rhodes, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Thank you. Position number 2 is a medical reset.
Okay, that'll be reset.
No, I emailed. I actually, I would like to request because of MH issue, I want to request the live stream to be stopped because I met him in person, the defendant number 2, and we would like to put him on actually conference calendar, Your Honor.
Okay, are you going to tell me anything more than that if we go off of the YouTube? So, I mean, if you want him to go on the competency calendar, I'll place him on the next available competency calendar.
Sure.
Okay, so when can we get him on a competency calendar, Ms. Bridgewater?
Okay, those calendars are on Thursday. Do you need at least a 2-week notice?
1 week, it should be okay, Your Honor.
Because right now we're setting the SAP calendar for the 13th of August, perhaps maybe the 15th, which will be a Thursday. Do you want it on that?
Sure.
Your Honor, can we go ahead and do his first appearance then?
No, I'm just about to address that.
Okay.
So we're going to have to do a first appearance, Ms. Kim. So I'm happy to put him on a competency calendar, but have you had a social worker visit with him to see if he, to assess his competency?
Do we have a live stream off right now? Because I cannot verify,
Okay.
Your Honor.